streaming. I'm not streaming. That's what I thought. I'm live. Okay. Weird. Hi. Okay. What my face look like under here? Can I get my head under here? No, I don't do that. Okay, so I don't know how to get rid of this thing. Maybe I just open this. All right. So get these goofy gloves on that are too small. Hopefully, people who are on my other chat moved over to this one. Oh, this one's got some stuff on it. How strong I am, just rip it. Okay. Today we're going to talk about lore. I should probably tell some people about this. Okay, so I'm going to let Jesse know where we're at live on YouTube. So he can join us. He wanted to join us earlier, but I'm a little quiet. Okay, thank you. How about this? Is this better? Are the DBs better? Let's see. Yeah, just let me know if sounds better. Ooh, all right. Trying to get all these live, like, this is a lot of work to actually put this on. I didn't think it would be. I am champion. We're going to talk about lore today. We're going to talk about the creation of it first and what we did to kind of create the game out of the lore. It's really fun. Jesse is just he's so imaginative, so he allows his brain to kind of like just explore all the different types of fun that he's enjoyed through his life and experiences of animation or styles and characters and champions and stuff. So a lot of that has been implemented into this game from him just kind of experiencing the things he likes. I mean, this is pretty much a world that he's created through. I mean, there's been fan input and my input, and I'm sure his wife's input and other people's input, but he himself has had these ideas for who knows how long. And if you go to his personal Space Stranger Instagram, you can see most of these characters, some of the developed characters that we've just took from there and actually put into the game because he's already created so many. So, he wants to join, but I can't. I have to download a software. Hey, anybody of you guys know how to get someone on? Is it easy on YouTube to get someone like streaming with them so I can have them on part of my stream? Does YouTube allow that for someone just to jump in if they have a camera? I wonder if that's possible. Is there stream settings? I don't know. Anyways, I don't have time for this. I'm just gonna Jesse, you can chat on YouTube until I can figure this out. Cause it's no fun. Okay, so some of this may be wrong, what I'm about to tell you, because Jesse's not here to actually say it himself. But for when I'm speaking to Jesse, we'll make up for it later and correct it. But the lore, these characters are part of Jesse's grand imagination of just fun champions. I mean, Grime right here, like you just wouldn't expect him on his own. You wouldn't expect him on his own to be anything more than just like a cool character for anything, really, not a champion for a game. Um, oh, so I can hear myself on the YouTube. Let's not do that. Grandma, you know, creepy grandma, Sentinel robot, and a lot of these characters, you can see where they're being drawn from. Now, they don't actually, some of these are not actually intentionally meant to be the characters that people think that they are. And it's kind of funny because people will say some weird stuff about the characters, and it's cool because it's even better of lore for us. And we're like, cool. If they thought that, like Spookster, I think someone mentioned him as something, but then it's just a guy with a coat. I mean, ghost costume, Shankin. Gridlock, though, Fifth Element. Remember these characters? People thought this was the Fifth Element dude, and I kind of see it. But it makes sense because Fifth Element is kind of like one of those films that are now going into that retro, time. Yeah, Grandma is one of my favorite as well. Then Mantoid. Honestly, I don't know where Mantoid comes from, but he is my favorite. I think we created lore for him. Where's my lore? I think we have lore for him. So if you go to our Discord, and this is our Discord, I mean, it's only right now a couple guys have joined. Thank you, Jetta and Dieter, and whoever else is joining. But we have a lore wherever it went to. Where's my lore? Yes. So we have a whole bunch of lore. I feel like one of these characters, like Big Bad, this was created, Cardboard Cohort created this lore, and because we kind of modeled it for him, like this card, in a sense, like thought of him as kind of like a wolf guy, and maybe this is what he really looks like. Maybe this is what Andrew looks like. But he created all this lore, and it's really good. And I'm just going to read a little bit to get it started, kind of show you where we're going afterwards. But if you want to join our Discord, you can see all the fun lore that people have created for different characters. I'm looking for Mantoid. No. Oh, I guess I don't have it. Well, I guess we could create it today. Yay. So, how do we create it? Jesse got his imagination and put it out there, and each character he started designing. I don't know his process fully on this, but once he started designing the character, I think the story kind of built itself out to what the character might be, where they're from. Mantoid is one of my favorites, so I mean that's kind of where this all comes from. I mean, look how many characters he had to think of, and Chicken. I think we all know what this one is. This is one of my favorite Christmas movies. Here's another one that I feel almost resembles kind of a Fifth Element look. Beastmaster, that's rad. I like that one. Yeah, obviously, if you don't know what this one is, then, well, you're probably born in, I don't know, 2000 something. Because that's what was that, 80s? Is that 80s? Or is that 90s? I don't know. Oh, that's right. Grime is one of Laserface's henchmen. You are correct. Good call. That's Jesse. Something is Jesse there. I don't know why that is. Miss Dr. Bomber. Dr. Bomber's fun. I think Jesse has a Dr. Bomber lore he can put out there for people to read. His is fun. Duke Blaster, believe that he is a bounty hunter, or is he a bounty hunter, Jesse? I think he's a bounty hunter, isn't he? Cyber One, Cosmic Boar. We can just create so many. So what we're going to do is how to create it. And the reason why I'm going to show you how to create it in this video, I wanted to do this, is because I wanted players when they play these champions to not feel like they're pulling champions that they don't have relatability to them, and because what we find is when you're playing this game, um, let's say I pull random 5 champions, right? First top 5, and say I'm a kid or somebody just starting to play, and this is the cards that I'm dealt. I don't really know the game very well, but I'm just going to play them anyways, and I'm playing against someone who has somebody who knows what they're doing. Let's just assume. And Monk Defender versus Duke Blaster. Oh, my stuff is way down here. I need to go up here. You guys can't even see this stuff. I'm sorry. Put a line of Pika. You going down here? Okay, so if I'm going to be playing this game and I just started off and I don't know who Duke Blaster is, I don't have any feeling towards him or the way he looks. I guess he's a kind of a cool card. I don't know. I don't have any idea. But let's say we battle it out and I win, and that's the end of the game, and I have, let's say, 2 champions left. Me being a new player to the game, I feel like this is the part of the game when you finish the game, when you've won or if you've lost, right? And even losing this can happen because you could have a favorite that you might really, really like. You're like, oh man, I love Fisheye. His attacks are amazing. I hope I pull him next time. So even in the losing phase, you might. But what I'm talking about is in the winning phase of the game, or when you play this game, at the end, there's that split second where you decide, do I want to play another round, right? Do I want to, or do I don't want to pursue another round and keep having this kind of fun, or move on to another game, or move on to whatever I'm going to do, chores or whatever. This thought of having people when they have these characters not have a barrier of leaving it at the table saying this is all you have, this is all you get the game with the champions. We want to create an atmosphere where they can say, oh well, this is an interdimensional game in a sense. Jesse and I will explain our lore when it comes time, the truth about how we came to this planet and dimension, of course. But right now we'll just talk about Duke Blaster. I like him, but if I'm able to create lore for him and submit him lore into, my own gameplay against somebody, if I'm having fun as a kid, because kids like toys, and that's why I have the toys out here. If I have a toy and I'm playing with Raphael, and I'm just doing whatever, I can put him in different scenarios, different timelines, or whatever, and that's what we want for our champion cards, kind of be almost toys in and of themselves, and that's. I think that's how Magic the Gathering, Pokemon, and all of them kind of created the game, and that's what we're trying to go for as well. But we want to give, and it is fun to follow someone's already built world. Don't get me wrong, Pokemon is fantastic, but how much more could Pokemon be if each character or each Pokemon was actually created by a different human from a different place, from a different area of the world, right? Like some kid in South Africa who plays soccer but loves Pokemon on the side was able to submit the storyline for, Charmeleon or the transformation or whatever, and then they actually implemented the cartoons. People would grow up with these, this connectivity and this connection and strong bond, and we want to allow that to happen. And since it's an interdimensional game, I mean, Duke Blaster could be created by me. I could create his lore and put it on the website, but then someone else could put their lore, and it could be that much better and much more fun. And there shouldn't be any fear around it. I think there's fear a little bit about building lore, but it shouldn't be. And that's what I want to kind of let people relax. And when they play these champions and they're playing like, oh, chicken shouldn't be Bruce, it should be, this car mechanic. Oh, you know what this is? This is Toretto. Like that. Maybe that thing will go. He's a bank robber who's escaped the chicken coop, and he's got a couple hens and a rooster with him, trying to take down this, intergalactic bank of sorts. But then he's being bamboozled by the security software, which is Bamboozle, and he's protecting it, but he's being alerted. He's letting everybody know, which the bank is being attacked. And of course, they're sending out top-notch, best gunner, Duke Blaster to take down the chicken, right? Simple as that. Yeah, and that's the like Duke Blaster, maybe a bounty hunter, but yeah, he's a bounty hunter, and there's no way to get around that. So let's take one. Let's see, Fungaloid. I don't want to take all the good ones. I want to leave the good ones for. I mean, they're all good, but leave the maybe easier ones to create stories for. Oh, yeah. So let me get back on here. Let me see OBS. See if this works. So if you don't know, our original story starts with a couple wholesome champions by the name of Captain Brash and Phantom Boogie. These two are arch enemies of each other, and let me just show you. So Captain Brash here, let me see if this shows up on YouTube. Does it? Doesn't even show up on YouTube. I don't even know how to check it. Come on now. Oh, here we go. Ah. All right, sorry, I gotta check if this shows up. So Captain Brash is our hero of season 1. Now, his enemy, Phantom Boogie. Oh, it does show up. So I can just use OBS. Nice. Can't see the chat though. Oh well. All right, so you got Captain Brash here, and he's fighting Phantom Boogie. And Phantom here he's just wreaking havoc across the multiverse and the interdimensions. Okay, Captain Brash here, he's got this glove, and he's received it from his father, who we just released, Crash Commander, for season 2. These two are our main dudes, and I love them to death. So that lore is actually stable lore, and the reason why we have like any kind of core lore. Is it core lore? I don't know. It's core lore. Anyways, it's our lore. I am champion standardized lore, and the reason why we may have standardized lore is to give room for the seasons and the brewing of the expansion packs and things of that theme packs that we're moving forward to. Now, this will also help out the board game because the boards will be themed, right? And you can apply some of the champions. When we release the champions, there'll be a set core of champions probably with the board, so that way the theme stays somewhat fun, but you can interchange the characters and whatnot like that and do whatever. So the standard lore will be Captain Brash chasing down Phantom Boogie through the multiverse and the interdimensions, while he's collecting up people, kind of Shao Kahn style, or I don't know, I forget. You know what the one thing about MK is that they have a bad guy and he seems to be the toughest, but then he has a boss, you know, and then he has a boss, but then he has a sister who's more boss than he is. It's like, what? Who's the final dude? Like how are you guys? Why don't you just sit in the top dude to destroy everybody and get it done with and be finished with this? Why is this happening? Anyways, personal stuff I got to figure out with games. All right, so you got Phantom Boogie here. Phantom Boogie here, Captain Brash here, and Crash Commander coming out soon. But we would hope that there's 150 champions here. You guys need to go at it, pick a champion, build a lore, and when we get the website start going up and getting quicker updated, I'm going to start putting the lore on each card so people can read through it and actually see your name, you know, where you're from in the sense, or USA or whatever country you're from. And, you know, that'll be fun. Maybe even the age, just kind of see what the age, like someone's creativity is. I would love to see like a you know, a kid, you know, a young kid in elementary write the most epic story that turns out to be like the change of our entire game. It would be awesome. Or, you know, someone who's super retro and knows old school stuff, like want to build some lore for everybody. So go for it, build it out. Don't be shy. We're not going to hold anything against it. Now, for copyright issues and stuff like that, you're just going to have to give up all that stuff. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know to tell you, because if I was offering, if another game was offering for me to build lore and it would become something in there or they would share it, I couldn't. I mean, asking for compensation and all that stuff would be kind of goofy because this is kind of a prize thing. This is kind of a joy, a community giving back thing. This isn't something we don't need it. It isn't mandatory for the game to succeed, but we're offering, opening up the doors so that way people can have fun. Okay, so creating lore. Take a champion, Galadon, Galactic Tusk. Now, there are a few things you want to look into. I recommend this is the way I'm going to teach it because I think it's easy to understand on a basic, but you don't have to follow this at all. So just take it with a grain of Galactic Tusk. So an even number is rolled, a +5 to your attack. If an odd number is rolled, +5 to your defense. The flavor tusk. Oh my gosh, I have been up for a while. The tusks, the flavor text, the tusks are what got me. Now, okay, that could be like, oh, the tusks are what got me, right? Or it's like the tusks are what got me. I don't know. Maybe that's not what it is. I don't. That's not probably the emotion he was going for. I do need to figure out why I can't see the other screen though. Oh my gosh. Sorry guys, I'm trying to figure out how I can actually see the chat now, but it won't let me like. I guess I have to go to studio? But there is no studio. How interesting. There it is. Okay, so Galadon here is I'm trying to join. Sorry guys. Just let me join people. Oh my goodness, I'm gonna lose my brain here. I'll forget it. I want to create a story for him. Where can I put him in the multiverse? This is where I'm going to stick him. He's an elephant-looking, mastodon-looking, green pig boulder. I don't know what this guy is. He's got tusks, but that doesn't mean he's an elephant. He's kind of got the nose, but then that's definitely, maybe that's an elephant nose. I don't know. I don't mean those bending cards over here. But he's got purple and green. The green goes with our goo theme. So one of our main core themes is goo, not the ooze, as some people may think or do. We are the goo people. Goo just sounds fun to say, goo. Maybe ooze sounds better. I don't know. So Galadon here, I'm going to imagine that he was some kind of elephant that was transported to a goo planet and experimented on. That's very basic, I guess. But then he was trained to be. He wasn't good enough. But then he was made to be a farmer, and as a big, kind of elephant morphed looking thing, he was really strong and able to pull his weight around the farm and stuff. But then, as the empire that had experimented on him expanded out to the outreaches, he had to defend his farmland. And I mean, I feel like that's every movie ever made for sci-fi. But we'll go from there, and I can create it from that story on, from the point where he's survived and killed off enough galactic bad guys, and maybe even stole their armor. Maybe he has a mission to find Captain Brash and get him to maybe because he's got the power gloves, maybe the power glove can change him back, or maybe it has a technique to it that can actually get him to his original Earth realm, but he still needs to be transformed back, otherwise he's going to terrify everybody on Earth. Ooh, so many things we can do. But then Captain Brash has to hire his racing buddy from the early 42 millions and get him to join in and help, because he needs his speed and his escaping ability to get past Phantom Boogie's Spectral Bat arsenal that he has. Obviously, they're, bat, get it? Mm-hmm. See? Off the top of my head, right there, boom. Unfortunately, the land that they've have come to with Phantom Boogie is actually ravaged with beasts and monsters and even gross, disgusting vermin. But there's this one champion, Beastmaster, who kind of opens the gateway for them to get to Phantom Boogie because he's in this world he's a bad guy, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Voila, that's how you make it. I didn't even show it's not even on screen. Man, this camera work. I laid them down, didn't do anything about it. So, like I said, Galadon needs Captain Brash, who utilizes Scum Pilot to find out Fantaboogie, but is on the planet that's infested by vermin, which they have to defeat the Beastmaster to get all the creatures and vermin and whatever out of the way so they can get to the Spectral Bat horde, and through them to Phantom Boogie so Captain Brash can get his other glove or whatever and beat him down for harming his father, which there's a triangle of Korean drama right there somewhere. And then Phantom Boogie, though, needs the ooze from Galadon's blood in order to, because he's collecting all the goo around the multiverses in order to become the most powerful champion ever of all time, anytime. I think that's pretty good. That's not too bad. I would love to see the messages you guys are saying, but I don't. Let's see. Let's go. I Am Champion. So that's the Lord. And I think that's that kind of handles most of it. Nothing else to talk about. Oh yes, I'm so goofy. All right. Okay. Let me just type here so people know that I'm here. Inkology is me. I should. Why are you on? Okay, so let's move forward. Now we have some really cool, exciting things about the comic book expansion for events and for expansion packs. This was given to us today. Okay, I'm gonna admit I have been thinking about doing the comic book thing, and I've tested it out a few times. And the problem truly lies with my artistic style versus the game style. Now Jesse is the artist of this, and he has it. I don't know. I could replicate some of this, right? I could do it, but it's not going to come to me naturally. And when I do a comic book, I try to implement this, but my brain stretches much further on a different level of like wanting to keep things colorful. I don't do color very well. That's just it. Like my handle here that I'm typing on Instagram is Inkology because I do ink, black and white. So when I see color, it's amazing, but I don't get it. So it's hard to do a comic book, but one of our good, amazing people on Discord, Kuro Chibara, that yeah, in Cardboard Cohorts, they decided that like, hey, would it be cool if someone was able to unlock a comic strip or a comic book if they bought the expansion pack? And I was like, that is kind of genius. Actually, that's kind of wildly genius. But I bet I could take it a little bit further because what we wanted to do was have the comic book build for that season's lore, right? Like have the season can be built off of this first, I guess, edition comic book, a little comic book kind of thing, and that would be the kind of the rule book as well. The rule book would kind of be going off of that, and you would just see different designed rule books for each kind of season or comic strip. Now, the comic book would be great because I think I can create some stuff. The thing I do worry about is creating lore in the comic and people feel like they can't stretch out a different story altogether. So I have to build the comic to be where people feel and know and feel that they are watching my dimension of these champions and not the ultimate one, except for maybe Captain Brash and Phantom Boogie for the seasons. Like I said, for each season, we'll probably have 2 or 3 standard or a couple of standard champions that will have to play. That will be the I Am Champion lore that goes with it. But if you create your own, good for you. You know, like yay, cool, go for it. That's what we want. But the comic book is going to probably be a mix between humor. Has to be humorous. This is all humorous. This is retro. I have to figure out how to draw this though. That's just going to be the issue. I don't know. I don't know what to do. Hmm. Maybe I can try to do my version of this style, minimize it a little bit more. Because I'd have to be able to pull out a couple pages. Now that's something. Put your vote in. How many pages you think would be good? Down and below in the comments section. Like, if you were to get an expansion pack, let's say the expansion pack was 10 cards, and you had a free download in there of the comic or to read it. How many pages are you expecting to read to feel? Oh, this is a great little purchase. Like I got something valuable out of this. I want to know what you guys think. I think. Someone said I think 3 to 4 pages, but I think I'd feel gypped. I would want 10 full pages. I know that's a lot, but we're talking about expansion packs and even board game theme packs, right? I think 10 pages is fair enough for the customer, the player, but also to the artist as well, because what that allows me or Jesse to do is give the audience something to read and feel in love with. You know, find something, the characters that they, you know, humorous and dangerous and excitement, and build these little emotions in everybody who's playing the game. So that way, when they do play the actual game, they may actually pull off those maneuvers and feel that excitement. But yeah, I forgot where I was going with that. Anyways, I want to thank those two for recharging that idea. I think that's brilliant. I think I'm going to go 100% on that one and just say I'm going to do that. I'm going to have comic strips for people when they get the expansion packs. Inside will be a little card, and they can download or scan the QR code and go read the comics. And for people who, yeah, don't get it. That's your fault, not my fault. And I will do that for, actually, I think I can do that for the tournaments. Okay, I think a tournament themed comic strip would be fun for people to enter. They have to read this little comic book, kind of getting them charged to do the fight and the battle with their team, right? I think that's so. I'm going to use Mortal Kombat because Mortal Kombat was one of the first initial ideas of Welcome Cardboard. Just talked about you a whole bunch. Tons of negative stuff though, totally negative. And Mortal Kombat had this thing where, you know, you had your tier of champions, and you didn't know what you had. They were random, or I don't remember if they were random. I thought they were random. No, they're random, right? They're random. Or is the second last? No, second last two are standard, and then these are all random, depending on who you chose. Anywho, the way Mortal Kombat worked, you climbed up, but it didn't matter. This didn't have to do with the lore, right? Because the lore was built in the intro video that everyone had to watch. You were forced to watch it, and video games still make you, like Final Fantasy makes you watch that first long 10-15 minute video in order to play your game. But once you're done with it, you have a full understanding of where you're going to go and where you're going to end, or you're hoping to end. Maybe not in Final Fantasy, you never know where you're going to go with that game. But other games like Mortal Kombat, you know that the top dude up there is where you want to be and finish it. And what that looks like is the introduction video of Mortal Kombat kind of talks about like, oh, he's coming back to start an ultimate fight, so, you know, blah blah blah, whatever. And it leaves it kind of open ended because you have all these characters now, these fighters and warriors that you can build up and take it to the top. And at the end, there's a specialized videos just for that one champion. But back in the day, they didn't have specialized videos. If you remember, when you play these games, it was like if you were Liu Kang, I mean, if you were Johnny Cage and you beat the game, it was still Liu Kang's, like, it was his video, because like the story was about him, right? And in the same way, I think having tournaments, you going into a tournament, and then the rule book or the structure of the tournament for the intro of introducing you to I Am Champion tournaments, Battle Station tournaments. It's called Battle Station. I need to get used to saying that. Getting you introduced and welcomed and ready and pumped for I Am Champion Battle Station. then you go off and do the tournament. And at the end of the tournament, maybe actually maybe I won't even have a comic for that, but do you see what I mean? Like having comic strips for that, because we wanted to do a cartoon and or a live action little video of our goofy stuff or retro stuff about these characters. Because Jesse and I are very crafty as well. We used to be in school all the time creating paper mache and wood, just everything. I built an entire night outfit out of this hard, thick paper that we taped and stapled, and it was glorious. And then we chased each other around. Not Jesse and I, but another friend of the old days. And we these days have the ability to actually create quality retro costumes like Captain Brush's helmet and all these kind of things because of cosplay and the advancements in foam and stuff like that. So we want to do all that, and we were hoping to create a live action thing for people to watch, a little skit, like a little 5 minute TV show on YouTube to watch of kind of like these champions. But we don't live anywhere near each other. Jesse's in Texas, I'm in Cali. That's just not going to happen. And then he definitely does not have time to learn to animate or draw out these things as much as, because I mean he still has champions to develop. He has to build out all these guys, and half the time he's doing these abilities as well because, I mean, he knows them in his head because he's designed them all, and I have to learn them all since they're not in my head. Anyways, expansions, events, comic books, good thing. We're doing it. Thank you, Cardboard Andrew. Thank you, Opal. All right. I've already explained how comics work and how they're going to work for the board game as well. The board game will have the rule book will be a comic book, I believe, but it will build you to that theme of the board game. The first board game is going to be standard, simple, orange, blue, retro look. No theme to it. Maybe a few rocks or space stuff, but most likely it's going to stick to the theme of the back of this card. Because we need it. We need a basic. We need a basic. We have to create it anyways. Might as well make it now. And then next season comes out, you may have a entirely ghoul themed gameplay that will also work for the dimension mode, which is like the Dungeons and Dragons style gameplay. A gentleman on Facebook actually created a version of our game with those champions, and I wasn't able to print it out. Oh, I didn't print it out and go through it. I didn't get to go through it because I was on vacation at the time somewhere else. But I just need like maybe a day or two to kind of just sit down and play it and get the whole thing going. I love that he created it. But the board game will be something like that where you can create stories and it'll be themed and it'll work towards the theme. Now we have a few fine tunings. We figure out how we can really build off of that. But until then, that's our plan. Things could adapt and change too. I don't know. We don't know. So that's it. That's it for the whole lore thing. I think I've created a pretty decent understanding of what's happening here. And I'm so sorry about the introduction of this whole thing. And Andrew, I know you just joined, but this I'm only 37 minutes, so I still have some time. Nice. Okay, so with the comic book idea, the look of it might not match the retro design that Jesse looks, but I'm going to make that very clear that I am the artist in that if I design it, okay? Because I don't want people to feel like, oh, how come Jesse's drawing two different styles? It's not Gameway. Like, I don't want that. And this is actually kind of a good way for me to test a new way of lore and stuff being created. Because if I can create one and people can see, oh, I Am Champion allows other artists to create stories and stuff and draw comic strips, then maybe I don't have to create it. Maybe anyone else who has artistic skills or wants to create their own little strips can create them, and we can ask them, compensate them for some packs or something, and we can have those rights to put that on the actual produced and manufactured comic strips for the season, or for a pack, or for an event, or for whatever. If I have other people having their own, and that way they can go home with their artists or writers, I'm like, yeah, I created a comic for I Am Champion back in 2024, and it helped the company do this, or I don't know. It would just help a lot of people play or whatever. I don't care what it is, but you know, like that would be so cool because I think as me as a kid, and you know, when I was a kid, I wanted to be able to submit stuff and have my approach because I used to play with toys when I was a little kid so much. This guy hasn't been touched since I was like 6. He probably needs to be cleaned. Like he has not been cleaned once. Ugh, gross. But I would sit there and create. You know, if you were a kid in the 80s and 90s, that's all you did was create. You went outside and played, and then you came inside and played. You know, with your toys and random stuff. Video games didn't really exist, so you know, Nintendo and Sega, but you know those were privileges to even get near that thing. Unless you went to Walmart or one of the stores where you could play when your mom was shopping, you can go into the electronic area. It's the best. Okay, so that's it for the lore. We want you to create. I want you to create lore. Write it out. If you like writing, just have fun. If you're just drunk one night and you're like, hey, I wanna drunken write lore. Kids don't drink, but if you're an adult, you know what I mean, and this is your thing, it'd be fun. I just like to read what people come up with. Don't make it too lengthy. The reason why we don't want it too lengthy, meaning more than a page, is because there are 150 champions right now. There will be likely around 3,000 champions by the end of in the next couple years, right? Because we might actually start producing more if the game picks up to the point where we can function as any other trading card game or any game and actually make the game grow, then we're gonna have to hire other artists. We're gonna need other great minds and people to help do these things. So more competitions, more tournaments and stuff like that to help produce these things are going to start happening. I'm having so many brain farts right now. But anyways, Jetta, Dieter, Cardboard. Nobody knows you. Not nobody knows you. I'm saying like they don't know your name, your real name. I don't. Anyways, I'm sleepy. And thank you for joining I Am Champion Late Night Show with Joshua Lamb, the co-creator of I Am Champion. Next time you feel lonely, look at chicken. And just remember, if you roll 2 good solid dice, you could lose half of your defense with the snake eyes. Now, this is Friday night. You guys should be having fun and not listening to me do this thing, but thank you for coming in. If you have any questions and if I made any mistakes on explaining anything, which I don't know how you would know, but then please leave your comments down below. Go have fun. I'm gonna go.